and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ved Prakash Dudeja. As she has already introduced, uh, she has spoken so nice words about me. Thank you very much. It gives me immense pleasure to address this gathering in the Global Rail Conclave 2021. I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to interact with all of you. It is heartening to witness the convergence of the entire fraternity of metro, railways, RRTS, high speed rail, and allied sector professionals on a single platform. This event provides an opportunity to collaborate, learn, network, and deliberate on important issues in the mobility sector. Railways form the core infrastructure of the nation and constitute the bedrock of economic development. Indian Railways consists of the fourth largest rail network in the world and is among the largest employers globally. In fact, it is the single largest railway system if we talk in terms of management, the single largest railway system in the world. Before I begin speaking on my topic, land development, infrastructure development, and future prospects for railway in infrastructure, I take this opportunity to introduce my organization, that is Rail Land Development Authority. Rail Land Development Authority is a statutory authority under the Ministry of Railways to develop vacant surplus railway land across the country to ensure commercial development and generate revenue by non-tariff measures. It was established in 2007 with a mandate to monetize surplus railway land as well as central government land under the Indian Railways Amendment Act 2005. Currently, Indian Railways has approximately 43,000 hectares of vacant land across the country. So, far as RLDA is concerned, RLDA has got four key mandates as a part of its development plan, namely leasing of commercial sites. Presently, we are having about 100, over 100 commercial sites, which are greenfield sites, land parcels, which we offer to the private developers for commercial utilization, and we get upfront lease premium out of that. Then we have got colony development projects. At present, we have been interested with 84 colonies. We have got station development projects. 60 stations are being developed currently by RLDA. And then we have got multifunctional complexes, which at the present we have got 123 across the country. RLDA has recently leased out 3 railway colonies, one in Guwahati and 2 in Secunderabad for redevelopment. Basically, colony redevelopment model, as you know, works on the excess FAR available in our colonies. Our colonies are spread over a very large area in single-story, double-story kind of buildings, and lot of excess FAR is available in those areas. So we monetize that excess FAR. We give it to the developers for monetizing it, and in turn, the developer redevelops our colony, and plus we earn some revenue out of that in addition to our redevelopment part. A total of 100 land parcels with an area of approximately 253 hectares and total revenue potential of around rupees 8,500 crore is presently entrusted to RLDA by Ministry of Railways. And out of these 100 land parcels, we have already awarded lease contracts for 25 sites, worth about 2,000 crores, most of which have been leased out recently in the last 2 years. RFPs for 24 commercial sites having a potential of about 2,400 crores, which we have targeted in this current financial year, including 5 high-value sites like Salt Bola in Kolkata, Bola Ali in Hyderabad, Mahalakshmi in Mumbai and Shakur Basti in Delhi. These are in the pipeline, and some of them are already on our bidding block on our website, and more sites will be coming up in the coming months. This is a brief about RLDA, what we are doing. So far as stations are concerned, we are developing generally the stations on PPP with public-private partnership. So, if we talk about India, India has witnessed a rapid pace of urbanization in the past few decades. However, increasing population, environment pollution, and congestion have put a strain on Indian cities, and planned urbanization is a viable solution to address these challenges. Urban land is a tangible asset that has great potential to usher in socio-economic transformation through development and redevelopment. This process puts vacant land to better use, accelerates commercial development, generates employment, and opens the revenue stream for the landowners. In a nutshell, land development has a multiplier effect on the local economy, besides enhancing the quality of life of citizens. Nevertheless, the process of land development should be executed in a concerted manner with extensive engagement with all stakeholders, including the local community. At the outset, all land banks must be mapped comprehensively and enlisted in the public domain to ensure transparency and accountability in the development process. It should also encompass the SWOT analysis and set benchmarks to improvise upon the existing models. The development of infrastructure serviced land holds great potential to unlock tremendous benefits to the local populace. Infrastructural development and upgradation also constitute a crucial plank of planned urbanization. It accelerates not only economic growth but also bridges regional disparities, generates job opportunities, bolsters real estate, and ensures inclusive growth. It is heartening that the government under Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji is committed to achieve the goal of planned urban development through various initiatives. The flagship among them is the Smart Cities project, aiming to upgrade 100 cities to cater to futuristic requirements. The railway station redevelopment also constitutes an essential component of the Smart Cities project. These railway stations are tangible assets and serve as transit nodes linking cities with one another. RLDA is currently working on 60 stations in a phased manner, while its JV IRSDC has taken up another 62 stations across India on a PPP model. In the first phase, major stations like New Delhi, Tirupati, Dehradun, Nellore, Ernakulam, Charbagh, Lucknow, and Pondicherry are being taken up for redevelopment by RLDA. Similarly, IRSDC has taken up stations like Mumbai CST, Amritsar, Sabarmati, Ludhiana, and others. The objective of redevelopment is to equip these stations with best-in-class amenities and provide a superior travel experience. The redeveloped stations will be endowed with amenities such as segregation of arrival and departure, CCTV surveillance, centrally air-conditioned common spaces, an integrated building management system, green building features, and much more. The station development process encompasses two components. First, the mandatory station development, that is the core area development, comprising station, bridges, air concourse, the renovation of platforms and utilities. And second part is commercial development or non-core development. It's also called station estate development, including retail, basement parking, external development, and MEP services. Since most of these stations serve as India's cultural heritage, due diligence will be exercised to ensure that redevelopment does not dilute their cultural and heritage significance. The ambitious project of station redevelopment will strengthen social infrastructure such as food and beverage outlets, retail spaces, banking and financial services, and many more. Once completed, it will ensure the socio-economic development of the surrounding regions and augment the tourism potential of cities with redeveloped stations. For instance, the stations of towns in South India, such as Kanyakumari, Rameshwaram, Madurai, Kozhikode, Tirupati, and Puri, will constitute India's temple circuit for religious tourism. We have already invited RFQs for Tirupati and Puri, and other RFQs are in the pipeline. In very short period of time, we will be inviting RFQs for all these stations. The subsequent economic development from the redevelopment of the railway station will propel India into higher growth trajectory. One of our flagship projects is the redevelopment of railway station in New Delhi. Being the national capital, the city is a hub of political, commercial, and tourism activities. The East India Company established New Delhi railway station in 1926. Today, it is one of India's busiest stations and among the most significant revenue generators for Indian Railways. This station handles around 400 stations daily, 400 trains daily, and of the passenger handled daily at this station are about 4,50,000 pre-COVID. Of course, during COVID, there is some temporary reduction in the numbers, but pre-COVID, it was handling around 4.5 lakh passengers daily, which is very huge. The largest passenger handling station in India, so far as non-suburban stations are concerned. The redevelopment is in line with the vision to elevate New Delhi as a world-class tourist destination on a global map. The aim of this project is to position the New Delhi railway station as a world-class multimodal hub with superior infrastructure and amenities, such as an elevated concourse with segregation of arrival and departure, refurbished platforms with easy access from the concourse level, green building provisions such as optimum use of natural ventilation and lighting. The project is expected to be completed in 4 years at a mandatory cost of around Rs 5,000 crores. The project also encompasses a commercial component, a mix of retail, office, and hospitality developments such as five-star hotel, budget hotels, and service departments on approximately 30 acres of land. New Delhi station is our flagship program, which involves consultation with a lot of stakeholders, including the town, and this station will also be developed along with the integrated zone planning of about 800-meter radius, where all urban infrastructure will be provided. And railway is committed to provide world-class infrastructure in and at and around New Delhi railway station. And in fact, the aim is also to reduce congestion along the Connaught Place circus, Connaught Place outer ring road, so that people who are coming to station, they can directly approach the station and exit the station without touching the Connaught Place. We are providing elevated road network all around the New Delhi railway station, which will ease the congestion, and we are providing a dedicated bus bays on both sides. Multimodal transport hubs are being provided on both sides, where the lower 3 to 4 floors will have parking, and upper floors will have office spaces. So this is what we envisage at New Delhi station. Corporate players are our formidable partners in RLDA's journey to shape the trajectory of planned urbanization in India. Several of these development projects will be executed on a PPP model, a viable option for undertaking development. It combines the strength of the public sector and private sector, expertise and professionalism of the private sector, and strategic direction and public interest of the government sector. They become the best combination for ideal for a PPP combination. This is perhaps an exciting time for the Indian infrastructure and land development that stands at the cross section of a policy network framework, technological advancements, and initiatives by private players. Certain measures, such as single window clearance mechanism, use of advanced technology, unambiguous nature of contracts will go a long way in improving the ease of doing business in the roadmap to planned urbanization. Like in New Delhi redevelopment project, where a high-powered committee, Apex committee, has been formed under the chairmanship of Honorable Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, for monitoring the various processes of approval, and this has fast-tracked the approvals for this ambitious project. And we have already opened the RFQs and we have finalized the qualified bidders for this station. And very shortly, we will be, as soon as all the approvals are in place, we will be coming out with RFPs. We don't want the developers to suffer on account of delay in approvals. So that's why we are taking all the approvals in advance. As we advance, innovation, sustainability, and efficiency should be our guiding principle for shaping the trajectory of urban development. The subsiding of the second coronavirus wave and revival of business activities augur well for the economy to embark on the trajectory of growth in the post-COVID world. Once again, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this excellent opportunity to interact with the brightest young minds of the country. I hope this conference turns out to be an engaging event packed with awareness and knowledge dissemination, interactions, networking, and fun-filled activities. I wish the organizers all the best in their endeavors. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.